Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here, and welcome on into a LEGO Disney video. Today we're going to be going over the 55 plus Easter eggs, references, and different connections that is inside of set number 43222, the Disney Castle, the brand new updated version releasing in July. We have a review if you want to check that out, and if you want to see all the details in action, but we're going to be going through here. I've taken a bunch of minifigures. In case you were like, oh, they're included in the castle, no, there's only 8. The 8 you see on screen right now, but for this video's purpose and going through each of the references, I wanted to go into the collection and actually take some of the characters and put them next to their respective references, because there is so much space to this castle. You really could put like pretty much every single LEGO Disney minifigure that's out there inside of this set. We're going to go in order of the movies and films release dates, and then at the end, sort of generic Disney references in this other category if you want to check that out. Again, there's chapters down below if you want to hop around to each of the different movies, but let's go ahead and let's get started with the first fully feature film that they released, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Each of the princesses included in the set actually have this little mural, and in Snow White's mural, there's a ton of different little critters, and there's birds that she of course sings to throughout the movie. There's different moments where she's singing, and that's what she's doing here, as well as there's the well where she first meets Prince Florian, and that's represented there in the front. There's also the cottage in the background, which is rumored to be another set that might be appearing. At the very top, there's these symbols for each of the 4 princesses, and there's the poison apple at the top, of course. And that apple also appears in this secret, not so much a compartment, but it's sort of locked inside of this top part here of one of the towers of the castle. Also, separately in another room, there's the magic mirror. And what's really interesting about this is, while it's cool, it's reflective, it's blank, there's actually, of course, from the Disney 100 minifigure series, the evil queen that comes with the magic mirror, and it's got the face on it. Unfortunately, it's a different piece, so you can't swap them out, but they actually share the exact same design that you'll find inside of the minifigure series. Next up, we have Fantasia, and this one's pretty basic, but the broom and bucket are both references to Mickey and bringing them alive to help do his work a lot easier, but also the well that they fill up from. And it doesn't have like a top, but it could sort of also act, I guess, as the well going back to Snow White and the 7 Dwarves that they meet at. From Cinderella, her mural is probably my favorite, if I'm being honest. I love the bibbidi bobbidi boo magic coming down. When the dress first appears on her, you could see all the different sparkles there. There's her castle in the background, of course, from the actual movie, not the one that we're looking at here, which is technically also her castle. We've got Cinderella's carriage there as well, which would make for a phenomenal separate set. There's also the glass slipper at the top there as her logo, but then there's actually a physical 1x2 tile that can be found at the very top of the tower, the tallest tower, but then it's also able to be held, of course, by Prince Charming, and you could sort of recreate her dropping it as she's running away down the steps, because going back up a little bit here, panning up, you could see there's actually a clock about to strike midnight. Also in the back, there's a bunch of different references, one of them being a pumpkin, of course, again, tying back to Cinderella's carriage. From Sleeping Beauty, despite her not appearing in this set, unfortunately, she is in the minifigure series, and she has a ton of references. Of course, there is the spinning wheel is included up above in the tower, but what's cool about that is they actually have this ability for you to lure Aurora into that room. That whole wall spins around, and it's got that floating, fiery, maleficent magic orb that lures her there, and I think that's really cool that they included that in the set. And then we've also got a bed. This is specifically referenced in the instructions as a reference to Sleeping Beauty. And you could see it's even got the purple curtains, which is from that scene. You can actually have her lying down on the bed, awaiting to hopefully get someday a Lego Prince Philip to wake her from her slumber. Next up, we've got the Sword in the Stone from the Sword in the Stone. And it's a very simple build, but you are actually able to lift up the sword. It's not built in there. It's not stuck. It is easy to remove. Although we have no minifigures from that film to date. Included in the set from The Little Mermaid is actually the dingle hopper there, the fork inside of this candelabra piece. And that leads us into the other candelabra included in the set, being Lumiere here. And jumping ahead a little bit, we've actually got this dining room where you can sort of have him sing, be our guest there. But what good is a dining room without having some food from the kitchen? So moving on over, there's a whole kitchen section filled with so many different references here. We of course have Mrs. Potts at the very top there, as well as a little cup there, which could also, I like to think, just seeing all this tea stuff, it immediately makes me go to the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. There is no references, sadly, specifically to that, but we'll pretend that's what this is if we want. And then, of course, in that cupboard that they're all standing on is actually, of course, where Chip sleeps with all his brothers and sisters. And you could see all the little studs representing different cups and plates and different things like that. And then we've also got the stove from that film as well, which we'll come back to in a bit. But then going up a level, we've got the library, which has this bookshelf there, as well as like the ladder to climb on up. And on the outside is this build for the enchanted rose inside of that glass dome. I think that's really cool that they reference that. In the same room, we also have on that table Genie's lamp, and you can see a little bit of like the smoke. Again, this is straight out of like the poster right there. Really cool to see that there, that piece. And then we've also got the magic carpet there on the floor. Really cool. That's actually a sticker, and it's very detailed with the lion head and different things there on that pattern. Next up here, we've got a couple of different colored leaves there flowing in the wind. This is, of course, from Pocahontas, from the colors of the wind. This is also the same accessory that she actually shares in the minifigure series that she just appeared in. Also from that minifigure series, we got Mulan, and her sword is also included here in the set. And there's this cool 2x3 little mural. I watched the scenes to go back and see if there was anything where the sword was, but nothing specific with this dragon. But it's red, so of course it does make me think of Mushu. From Princess and the Frog, Tiana's little mural here, it's not like really with any specific references. There's a couple of different reeds and lily pads and different things, I guess, from the bayou. But specifically with her, what I found interesting is, of course, there's the reference of the frog that she's holding there in her hand, which is meant to be Naveen. But then on the outside of the castle, just like the other one, there's a lily pad with a frog on it. And I was looking at the color, and I noticed it's green. Meanwhile, the frog that comes in the minifigure series with Tiana, the exact same figure, that is a light lime green. And then I thought, wait a second. They have different skin colors, Naveen and Tiana. And I realized that also in the movie, Naveen is that lighter green color. And then when she's a frog, it's a little bit darker as well. Going really in depth here. My point is, I believe that if you put the two frogs together, it's supposed to be Naveen and Tiana in frog form. And of course, we have in the set both of them in human form. From Tangled, which is probably my all-time favorite Disney princess movie, we have a lot of things in Rapunzel's mural. Front and center there, we've got Pascal, and he's actually using the minifigure version of a chameleon, not the weird mini doll version and the weird Disney princess version that they've created for Pascal. So I think that's interesting. We've never gotten that before. We've also got the flower there to the right, the flower that gives her her powers. We've also got her tower, of course, in the background. But then in the sky, we've got all of the lanterns there as well. At the very top, we've got that symbol there, the Kingdom of Corona symbol that's also on the different lanterns. And then, of course, we've got in an actual room, the painting behind the curtains that's on this 2x6 tile there. And that's a really cool sticker with all the different details and her sitting there watching the lanterns. And then also included is a paintbrush and palette to actually allow for her to make her different paintings in that room. I think there could have been so many more references to Tangled included in that room. There's a lot of space. There's a tower to the left that's empty, so wish there could have been some more things. But there is more. Going back to that stove from Beauty and the Beast in the kitchen, there's a frying pan. And of course, frying pan plays a really big part of that movie. Frying pans! Who knew, right? And then we've also got, speaking of Flynn, we've got his satchel there as his accessory. And I thought that was really important to reference, because that will tie into something we'll talk about a little bit later. From 2016's Moana, we have Moana's oar included there, as well as this 2x3 tile, which has Maui on it, and he's not a big fig, unfortunately. That would have been really cool, but he's got all the different animals that he can turn into. That's all of the specific movie references. There's this other sort of category I want to talk about, and it's the Walt Disney category, because inside of the tower, again, there's this secret compartment, and you open it on up, and you've got three things inside there. You've got this 2x2 tile of a Steamboat Willie classic Mickey Mouse sketch there. We've got this classic camera included there as well. But I think this is the most interesting thing. This silver wand that actually belongs to Tinkerbell. And you might be thinking, when did Tinkerbell have a wand? Well, Tinkerbell had a wand in all of the original introductions. She would have a wand when she's flying around, and she would, sprinkle it on the screen, and then different things would pop up, all the different, behind the scenes things when Walt's talking to Tinkerbell, all that fun stuff that's referenced right here. And that was actually our very, very first look at the Lego Disney 100 line, was this poster of Tinkerbell holding this silver wand, and here it is, finally. Got a couple generic references here. Of course, we've got the ballroom, and this could really go to anyone because, Cinderella. Of course, we have the ballroom with a dancing feature, and this could really go towards anyone across the various Disney movies. But we also have a tiara, and I personally, again, I like to think that this is a reference to Tangled because it's hidden. And I like to, you could pretend that Flynn has stolen the tiara and he's escaping the castle, different things like that. I've also got some fireworks here, which I think is really important to reference and mention because of the fireworks displays that happens every night. And then we've also just got the new color scheme for this castle versus the 2016 one. The reason being this new color scheme is because it was updated because of the 50th anniversary for the park in 2021. So that's what the new color scheme is for this set. And then also the castle logo and crest above the archway there, that's actually a printed piece, but it's the same one that matches up above on the flag. That's actually a sticker that you have to put on both sides. There you go. That's way over 55 different references and tidbits and different things that I noticed. Let me know down below if I missed anything. Was there anything glaring obvious that I bet you there's something I missed, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you think of this? Which one's your favorite? What would you have liked to see referenced in here? Comment it all down below. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.